you mentioned earlier, like, this is a franchise where it's like every movie is in it, like, not just like, the Wolverine movies are all in a different, each movie's in a different continuity. By this point, it's like every X-Men movie is in a different continuity. Like, every single X-Men movie that comes out contradicts the one that came before. Like, you had at the end of X-Men Apocalypse a hint that Mr. Sinister was going to come in and he was going to somehow be involved with Old Man Logan. And then that's completely ignored. You had Caliban in X-Men Apocalypse, and then you have Caliban again in Old Man Logan, played by a different actor with a different voice and a different accent. And, like, these movies aren't even trying anymore. Like, they work well individually. Like, Old Man Logan's a great, or I keep calling it that, Logan, is a great movie by itself, but it doesn't work as part of a franchise. And that's why I've been, for a while now, I've just been really bummed out with the X-Men movies, because I want to watch these as a series, and it just doesn't work that way, and it hasn't for a while.
Yeah, it's really fucking weird. I just don't know what they're thinking. The joke I've kind of gone to is they've done a great job of adapting the continuity errors from the comics. It's just... It's fucking bizarre, man. Mm-hmm. I always kind of crack up just thinking about the timeline of the X-Men movies. And the funny thing is, like, Days of Future Past was supposed to solve this. That was kind of like the whole thing being marketed as, like, Days of Future Past was gonna, like, kind of resolve the timelines. And it doesn't at all. And as good as Logan is, it kind of shits on the happy ending of Days of Future Past, unless you just say, okay, Logan's an alternate timeline.
Yeah.
And that's what it kind of has to be. And, I mean, love it or hate it, Deadpool solves the X-Men continuity problem. Mm. It's now, like, any kind of problem, like, this whole conversation's moot because everything's been solved by Deadpool. That's just what it is. Like, why are the timelines fucked? Because Deadpool went around and just did a bunch of crazy-ass bullshit with the time machine. There you go. Like, in a weird way, Deadpool's probably on some level responsible for Cable's future, and I'm going to be generous and say Cable's from the bad future of Days of Future Past, but what the fuck ever. It's just a fucking nightmare of continuity, and it's all because of how bad X3 was. I don't like the Cell and Android saga collectively, because people break it down. I kind of consider it all one saga, to be honest with you, from when Frieza comes to Earth to the defeat of Cell.
I thought you liked the imperfect Cell stuff.
I do, but, like, just generally, I don't like that whole arc very much, because I feel that's where the connections that Toriyama's attempting to make fall apart the most with stuff like that. Because that's the one where, like, originally, for the Android saga, he didn't even want to do a Cell saga. Originally, for the Android saga, he just wanted to do 19 and 20. But then his editor said, no, those don't look intimidating enough. Do something scarier. So that's where you get 17 and 18. And he's like, no, it's still not scary enough. Do something, like, more intimidating. And that's where you finally get Cell. And, like, it works artistically, because I agree, the designs get better and better. But, well, with the exception of semi-perfect Cell. But the story, the plot tends to break down. And so, like, I've always felt the androids, particularly 17 and 18, are stronger than they have any right to be. In a ridiculous manner. Like, again, why are they that much stronger than a Super Saiyan? Like, it's not like I have a problem with them being able to defeat a Super Saiyan, particularly if they kept the whole power absorption thing that 19 and 20 had. It's the fact that, like, she just fucking tosses Vegeta. And it's like, really? That to me just became the epitome of lazier writing.
Yeah, but to be fair, like, when she breaks Vegeta's arm with no problem, I still can't help but cringe at that scene.
Oh no, it's a fucking beautiful scene, and, like, it's a hard life to be a Vegeta fan, because he has that coming from a mile away.
I also rather enjoyed seeing the balloon in the pool, and I was oddly impressed by the way it was just in the pool. Like, I know these guys don't have that much of a budget, I thought that, I don't know what they filled the balloon with.
Water.
Oh, Oh yeah, God, I'm dumb.
I got a little advantage on you because I was curious too. I was like, it's probably just water, but there might be something in there. But no, I get a little advantage because I watched behind the scenes and like he bites through the balloon after the shot to pop it and water comes spilling out.
You and I have different styles. You watch the behind the scenes stuff. I prefer to not and just let the fan film speak for itself. I don't know. Sometimes I wonder if I should watch the behind the scenes stuff to get a better sense of it. But I've been trying to as a choice.
Take it as take them on their own. Yeah, it's an interesting distinction, and part of the reason I do it is because sometimes we're stretching a little bit for stuff to talk about in these. And
That's
so
true.
if I can see something in behind the scenes that gives me something more to talk about for the podcast, and something that I wouldn't be able to be aware of if I didn't watch the behind the scenes, like, oh, this is how they did that. That's a really good technique. That's really, really smart work right there. I want to be able to congratulate them for it. Whereas I never watch behind the scenes stuff with like movies, professional studio movies I'm reviewing, because it's got every advantage it could possibly have. The piece is supposed to speak for itself.